Can you imagine that there was a detailed and robust process and that at the end, the team is not going to be sold? The family will remain the principal owner of the Minnesota Twins, and people in Minnesota are despondent beyond repair. I'm not sure why. The Pohlads have owned the team since 91. You've had a World Series championship. Oh, you were No, you weren't contracted. Wait. Oh, oh yeah. I get it. You thought that after the fire sale that took place, and God, do I hate using that word, but it's not like they didn't trade 10 of their 26-man roster around the July 31st trade deadline. Let's pretend it was not a fire sale. Let's pretend it was a repositioning of assets. But the thought was this team is going to get sold. It's been for sale. And we thought Justin Ishbia, yes, Matt Ishbia, Phoenix Suns brother, we thought Ishbia was going to buy it. So did the commissioner, except Ishbia ended up buying the White Sox, which left the Twins SOL. But I figured everything was fine. Why would I not believe the commissioner? Rob Manfred on July 15th was very clear to everybody. I know some things that you don't know. I can tell you for certain the commissioner knows some things that we don't know. Check. Rob said, I can tell you with a lot of confidence that there will be a transaction there, speaking about the Twins, and it will be consistent with the kind of pricing that has taken place. Consistent with 1.7 for the Rays, consistent with 1.7 for the Orioles. So I guess we're talking about 1.7, which we know that Ishbia may or may not have been in that neighborhood. We know there's no one else in that neighborhood for the Marlins, clearly not. For the Angels, they can't get a number at all because Artie Moreno wants to sign. For the Twins, it appears not. For the Nationals, definitely not. Only Ted Leonsis wants to bid for the Nationals, and he's not hitting the asking price. So we've got an epidemic in baseball, but the Twins were not going to be the issue. Rob said there will be a transaction. We just need to be patient while they rework. That was July 15th. What would have happened in the last month that would cause the Pohlad family to release a statement that you can find anywhere online? That is a statement that is being crushed. Why is it being crushed? Because it's a letter from the Pohlad family announcing like today's Tuesday. That seems like an unnecessary letter to write. So you got to get some juice in there. And juice is what they did, explaining that for decades they've owned the team and it's a privilege and there's passion. They explored investment opportunities. Their focus is on what's best for the fans and long-term for the Twins. It's page 4 out of the statement playbook, except it was tone deaf because it totally ignored that the entire fan base wasn't crying with passion for the Pohlad family to keep the team. They were yelping with despair for the Pohlad team to sell. But I don't know if you know this, but when you sell a team, you have to go through a very detailed and robust process. I have no idea how they describe it as detailed and robust. What I do know is that after that process, the Pohlad family said, you know what? We're going to remain the principal owner of the Minnesota Twins because we see and hear the passion from our partners, the community and Twins fans. Their words. Well, I don't know where they see it. Certainly not in the Star Tribune. Certainly not on the streets of Minnesota. That passion inspires us, the Pohlad family said. I like that. But listen, for all of the people in Minnesota and all the fans of the Maroon 5 logo, I assure you that the Twins are in good hands because it's not a money issue. Why? We found out, and this is a quote, we are in the process of adding 2 significant limited partnership groups, each of whom will bring a wealth of experience and share our family values. A couple comments just between me and the Pohlad family. I have great respect for you, but if you're bringing in groups are which, not whom. If you're bringing in limited partners, then you say each of whom. If you're bringing in limited partnership groups, you say each of which, but I digress. Now, when I look for limited partners, I'm looking for a wealth of experience in what? in the widget business? Are they in the media business? What business? Are they in the baseball business? The minor league business? What wealth of experience? Finance? Private equity? What exactly wealth of experience? Charitable? Philanthropic? I'm in. Oh, they may have a cure for the yips in case Knobloch comes back. That may be the wealth of experience. Unclear. Sharing our family values. What does that mean? No late-term abortions? What does it mean to share our family values? That we don't like having premarital intercourse? Does it really matter to Twins fans what's happening with family values and the limited partners sharing those family values? I don't know. Maybe it's that we want to make the ballpark a fun, safe place during the summer when it's nice and during the fall when it's cold. I'm not exactly positive, but the fact that it was important enough to be in a statement that was released in like a bait and switch to make you not think of the reality that, oh my God, we're stuck with the owners, which I am not in favor of fans being in charge of who owns a team and who doesn't, or forcing an owner out. But I'm also not a fan of some sort of statement being released that explains that, hey, business as usual. My view always was, if it's business as usual, then you usually wouldn't do business by sending this letter. You would just keep owning the team. And then you do a scrum during next spring training or at the end of the season. Hey, what's up with the sales process? Well, I actually have nothing new to report. Because every team's for sale. It's just a matter of price. It's just a matter of timing. I don't know why the commissioner would put such a large likelihood on this team being sold. I understand the Pohlads wanted to get out. There's no doubt. Jim Pohlad's done a great job. John Pohlad, the whole Pohlad family, post Carl Pohlad, who passed away many, many years ago. They've been looking. They've been looking, and they can't find. But why would the commissioner give you timing? I got a word of advice, and I've said this directly to the commissioner, so I don't feel badly doing it on the show. Deadlines with dates are a bad plan. They just rarely work. You got to just give aspirational moments and thoughts of seasons. Like, yeah, the collective bargaining agreement is going to expire in December of 2026. That's the kind of date you can give. You don't want to say, I expect the team to get sold, or I expect that a media rights deal will be done by the All-Star game, because there's only downside. Now, if you're me, and you have a microphone and a platform, you can do a wait to see and then put a date on it. And if it doesn't happen, you're wrong, and then you own it. But when you're a commissioner, it just hits differently. So it makes it look like you're not getting what you want. So you said you'd have a TV deal by the All-Star break to replace ESPN. I still am positive they're going to do better than what ESPN was doing. But why give a date? It makes you look like, oh, we don't have a deal. When you have a team that's for sale, why give your thought on timing, on a date? What's the purpose of it? Because it's just downside. Once the team gets sold, you can then say, this now obviously makes sense. We welcome in Mr. X and we say goodbye and thank you to the Pohlad family. I remind you that I said, because I'm going to make myself accountable as much as I'm going to make the commissioner accountable. All the way back on March 25th of 2025, so that was 5 months ago, basically, I told you the Twins will have an agreement in place to sell the team prior to the start of the 26th season. Coca and I had a great talk during the pre-production meeting because that would seem like a loss. But Coca, we're not yet at the start of next season. And between now and next April, that gives us, for those counting at home, 8 months. What happens if someone comes a knocking on Pohlad's door and says, I'd like to buy your team for $1.9 million? Guess what? The Twins will be sold. And that whole letter about passion and we heard you and we're here to fight for you and make you proud to be a Twin, they'd be off that team and selling that team so fast your head would spin round like a renegade.